Don't pick up straight away. Let it ring for it.
Hello?
Hey up, lad. You're right. You're right, me boy. Flav, it's me agent. It's you. You're my agent. Flav.
All right, Big Sam. How you doing?
It's me. That's right.
I'm a big fan of yours.
Sam. I'm concerned.
What are you concerned about?
Because I don't know where this accent's going. And after this week, that's me too. That's all I've got. And it took me 2 minutes before we started to even say this. Where's it gone now? It's very confusing. But it's me, Big Sam.
What do you want, Big Sam?
Well, first of all, you got quiet.
I've got you a job, didn't I?
I know you did.
What are you ringing me up for? Just give me my 20%.
I'm just saying. Liverpool, Everton.
Liverpool, a big game.
Oh, huge game.
For your career.
Remember last time? I out-tacticked him. I did.
You did. I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you. Big game this week.
FA Cup, great fixture, great competition.
Are you gonna take it seriously this time?
Absolutely not. I never do. See you later.
Oh wow.
Completely worth it. Welcome to the One for the Weekend podcast with me and Flav.
How you doing?
Brought to you by Fan League. Sam Allardyce on the phone there.
Yeah,
clearly.
Big fan of Sam.
Quick review of the accent. Thoughts?
I enjoyed it.
Feedback notes.
I enjoyed it. It was good. I like, you
tend to drift.
Room for improvement.
Yes,
but it's better than what I can do.
Absolutely. The reason we had Sam on the phone is because the biggest tie of FA Cup third round is Liverpool versus Everton. We're going to be talking about that in the podcast and who we think's going to win that game, and also I'm going to tell you why Sam Allardyce will never win a trophy for Everton. We're going to let you know that later in the podcast.
Yeah.
So stick around for that.
Well, absolutely zero chance.
Zero chance. There is no chance that Sam Allardyce will ever win a trophy with Everton.
Okay.
That's it. Get angry in the comments. Do it. Fine. But I've got stuff to back it up. We'll talk about the trivia question that we asked last week. We've got a new one for you this week. And then we'll talk about the FA Cup. Shock ingredients. There's a lot of shocks on the cards this week. We'll talk about those were the days. Got some great ones from you guys last week, as well as Soldiers Lost in Battle. They stepped up, Flav. We needed a week off, a bit of time to breathe. It wasn't nice to have Soldiers Lost in Battle over the Christmas period, and we needed a few to come in. They have come in their droves.
Yep.
So we've got some Soldiers Lost in Battle to talk about as well, and then we will finally discuss, Flav, which team needs an FA Cup run the most.
Okay.
Out of all of football.
I mean, everyone needs one, don't they?
Do they need it?
All right, well, we'll talk about it. We'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
We'll do a deep dive.
Absolutely. As we said, this is brought to you by Fan League. It's an app. It's an app where you've got to predict 13 games in English football and you can make decent money. If you can get 13 out of 13 this week, you could win 11k, Flav.
Wow, really?
Incredible amounts.
But what's crucial to point out is that you can win money with 11 out of 13. You can get 2 wrong.
True.
There's room for error.
And if you've invited other people to play the game, they win money and you're playing as well. If you get 2 out of 13, which you have done in the past, Flav, and someone else gets 13, then you make money as well.
Let's not highlight that.
Thing. Well, I'm just saying, just trying to get across the rules of Fan League.
Yeah.
The other thing, 50k in the season prize pot, which is pretty good. Yeah. So if you can play consistently, if you can say consistency, then 50k at the end of it, if you can be right at the top there. It turns out from the stats that Fan League provides, Southend fans are the most intelligent football fans in football.
I mean, that's surprising.
Let's move on. And game week winner last week from the One for the Weekend League. If you want to join the One for the Weekend League, you can do so. All you got to do is download the app, link is in the description. Find me, James Alcott, ALLCOTT. I will then invite you to the league. Last week, I was top with Reece Coyne, 7 out of 13, so a poor week last week.
That was the
top one.
Yeah. No, fair enough. We need to up our game.
Yeah.
How are we doing overall in the league?
Went down 17 places last week.
Come on, lad.
There's a lot of leagues there, so join the league, help us get our average up. Because to be honest, it's a little bit embarrassing.
Especially as proponents for the Fan League brand, we've got to be doing better.
Yeah, we really do. Let's kick off with trivia. Last week, we asked you which 4 players from Romania, Switzerland, the Ukraine, and Uruguay have won Premier League medals.
I got Forlan right.
Got Forlan right. That was true. That was about it from you, I think.
Yes.
But we did have one person who got it all correct.
What?
Yeah, 27 Bedford. Well done, mate. I hope you haven't Googled it. And for the next trivia question, don't Google that either.
Yeah,
it's absolutely pointless. Costal Pantilimon Romania and Man City, sub-goalkeeper, 2013-14, you got that right. Gökhan Inler for Switzerland not for Switzerland, he's Swiss. He did it for Leicester City, 2015-16. Again, bit of a squad player. Again, bit of a squad player. Oleg Luzhny.
Bloody hell.
Ukraine.
And Arsenal.
For Arsenal, 2001-2002.
Oleg Luzhny, I haven't thought about that bloke in years. Well, in literally 18
he's one of those.
years.
Do you know there's some people who just... they could be... He could have been 19, he could have been 35. But he always looked 35. He's always looked old.
Yeah.
And last one, Diego Forlán, as you said, Uruguay and Man United in 2002-2003. This week's trivia, Flav, is a tricky one.
They're all bloody tricky.
Yeah. Name in order the top 5 Premier League hat-trick scorers during the Premier League era. Of course, Harry Kane had a very good Christmas, didn't he, Flav?
He did, yeah. He's got 2 hat-tricks.
He's got a lot this year.
He's how many hat-tricks has he got for Spurs now? I think it's like 11 in total, right, in all competitions.
Wow.
And the most in the history of the football club is Jimmy Greaves, who's also a record goal scorer, who has 15 in his entire career.
That's mad.
Yeah, and Kane's had, it's his 4th season at Spurs.
That's incredible.
If he stays with us forever, there will not be a record he does not break.
Do you worry that this kind of... the press will jump on any kind of... The news story will be for him to start to fall away and struggle. Do you think people will jump on that?
Yeah, because that's a story that's been kind of perpetuated since he came into the team. Well, one season wonder. He's a tapping merchant. He's a penalty merchant. All he can do is finish. Like that's an easy thing to do. And you saw for his assist for Dele Alli against Swansea last week. This week rather, is there so much more to Harry Kane's game?
That ball was incredible.
Yeah, and it's just the way he just pushed it out, just to give himself a yard. Looked up and then he just pinged it. It was beautiful. There's lots to. I mean, I think the bigger story would be about whether or not he's going to move. There's already talk about Real Madrid offering Modric, Bale, and one other. I can't remember the name.
Really?
As a swap for him.
Swap deals don't work though, Flav. You told me that before.
There would be cash equivalent, but the swap deal. And you know what? I wouldn't take him. You wouldn't? No. Well, you got an old Modric, you got a broken Gareth Bale, and the other guy I can't remember who it is. So.
Yes, that's not a good sign, is it? Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so the question, as I said, name in order the top 5 Premier League hat-trick scorers during the Premier League era. I'm not going to give you a clue. Actually, I'll give you a clue. Harry Kane's in there. He's in the top 5. But what is the order? Get the exact order right.
Oh, the order.
I want the order
right,
as well.
say the 5.
Because I think when I looked at it, a lot of those names are names that you would expect.
Yeah, the obvious one though. Can I just say it must be the obvious one?
As top of the tree.
Yeah, Shearer's top of the tree.
Okay,
right.
there you go. Yeah,
right, but the others in the order, you're talking about Henry, Fowler, Owen, but in order, I have no idea.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments. We will read out and we'll call out a name as well if you get it correct. It's FA Cup weekend.
Yeah, I love the FA Cup.
Do you?
Yeah, it used to be a complete waste of time. Now...
Why was it a waste of time?
Let's see. You just see the change of tone in your voice. It's like, hold on a minute. You're a stickler for the traditions. Because when you get... and this is just the way modern football is. Isn't that how you would want to feel? It's just fact. Yeah, I'm a grown-up. I can appreciate fact when I see it. It's when you're in the top half of the Premier League, or even in the bottom, near relegation, the drive in the season isn't to win an FA Cup. It should be, because it is still a glorious competition, but ultimately it's your league position dictates whether or not you have a job.
Yeah.
And it's, as we've seen, like half the managers in the Premier League last year lost their jobs. Might have been, but more. I think it might have been 12, 13. So, it's about where do you put your eggs? There's so many games. You're playing in Europe.
And your eggs are tired, aren't they?
Yeah, the eggs start to show cracks in the shell, and they're getting a little bit pale inside. And it's a weird analogy. It's one of those things. Now, I think for the first time in a long time, because Man City is so good and no one else has got a chance to win the league, the next best thing for most teams is the FA Cup, who are in that top 6. So I think you're going to see a lot of teams taking this competition very, very seriously.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Do you think I think they won't. I think everyone's geared up, and it's probably why we're talking about it ourselves on the podcast, is everyone's geared up to rest a lot of players. Even with QPR, how horrific we are in this competition, I fully expect us to make a hell of a lot of changes and probably not get through.
Just to put a line under it, how horrific are QPR?
We are so bad. We are. I think of the I think out of 49 teams that are regularly in it, we're 48th. I think Plymouth Argyle are worse than us, apparently.
And you haven't won a cup match in...
We haven't won a cup match, an FA Cup third round game, outright in the first 90 minutes of that game since 1997.
That's incredible.
It's funny.
I mean,
it's great. It's good. No, really, that's why I love it. That's why I love the cup. I'm owed a cup run, and that's why I cling on to.
Who you got?
Who we got? MK Dons at home. It's good. That is a good draw.
That's a winnable tie.
Problem for me is it didn't matter who came out. I would have gone, oh well, look, typical draw. That's literally as good as it gets. MK Dons are having quite a poor season. What I can't remember if they're League 1 or League 2 now.
League 1.
And so we should win that easy. But we won't. We'll probably lose 2-0. It won't even be close. Because we're just so bad.
Yeah.
It's frightening.
It's time for Holloway to go, isn't it?
No, absolutely not. Don't start that.
Come on.
I tell you what.
Wake up.
I had a wobble over Christmas, I'll be honest. We were rubbish against Millwall, but thank God we got a win. I tell you what, actually, let's talk about Millwall for a second. It's going off a piece of it, but I tell you what, if you want to go experience proper football, normally, I think most people, for their own safety, they would think, don't go to Millwall away. It was brilliant. It was like going to a little time warp. Do you know what I quite liked? Is that it was just, I mean, it was horrible, but it was manageable horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, we got kept behind for 20 minutes, and I thought, oh, well, hang on. Well, it might kick off any time. I really hope it doesn't, but it might do. You know, and I quite enjoyed that. So many, like, flat caps, so many geezers, so many... I walked into, did I say this to you yesterday? So I live quite close to Mill, so I was able to walk there. And as I got closer, you started to see a few more like people kind of walking like that, which was lovely. And then I walked into the car park.
For those that are listening, that was like a Cockney geezer.
Yeah, sorry, Cockney geezer head
thrust.
Yeah. I walked in, and there's a big sort of car park outside this. It's called the Barry Kitchener stand, and I got there and I hadn't heard a single word from a single Millwall fan at all. And then I got a bit closer, and the first thing I heard as I walked into the car park was one guy who was about 45 going to another guy and going, we're having a drink and it's all fun and games. And then Trevor has gone and leaned across the bar and he's grabbed the landlord by the throat. I was like, this is cool. This is great. This is wicked, yeah. And he's grabbed him, and they're all like, grabbed him by the throat. Brilliant. Get to my seat.
Tell us about the goal celebration.
Goal celebration, well, I never enjoyed conceding a goal as much as I did as well, because you know when you watch a musical and you go, that wouldn't happen. Yeah. Well, of course you wouldn't, because it's a musical. They just go into like full song.
Yes. And
like and then it turns into like a flash mob, and everyone's getting involved in it. That happens at Millwall
because they've got this song, haven't they?
Got this song. Let them come, let them all come down to the den. Yeah, and so they score a goal, and they all go mad. And I thought, even at that moment when they scored the goal, whoever's on the button for the music was like, he was ready to go. Yeah. And he's like, poof, and then it's like this George Formby kind of like, let them come to the den. And so they're all going mad, limbs everywhere, as they normally do with any goal, especially this game, because they hate Ian Holloway, absolutely hate Ian Holloway. And but then we're at one end behind the goal, and then I'm looking at them all celebrating, I'm thinking, shit. And then at the end it goes, let them come to the den. And they literally, all of them, just turned and went, to the den.
Or jazz hands in the air like that.
It was bizarre. It's like my sort of life turned into a musical for a second there, and they loved every second of it.
Amazing.
But yeah, I think I had to go to that game. So despite, it was on the 29th of December. I don't need to go to that game, but I did need to go to that game because it was.
Despite all the bad sort of reputation that Millwall got their fans, you're saying wholeheartedly get down to the den.
Get down to the den, yeah. Do you know what? It's if you want to experience real football again, because there's very few places you can do that. I think nowadays, that's real football.
Nice.
It was good. Sorry, a bit of a tangent there. FA Cup shop ingredients. So there's a few games out there. You alright, bud?
Don't know why.
Particularly
fine.
A few Pascal Cup shops, that's the whole point of it. What would you say are key ingredients for a cup shot?
I think poor form from a big side going into against a side in lots of forms. Swansea against Wolves.
Yeah.
Wolves are flying, absolutely flying. Manager's done an incredible job. I had a little look back into his past actually, and teams he's managed. His record has been superb.
Really?
Yeah, in sometimes in difficult circumstances. But before that, we'll come on to that. But it's that, but it's also really bad weather. Boggy pitches.
Yeah.
I've seen Spurs and I've seen Arsenal get done by Wrexham in 1991.
Yeah.
Mickey Thomas scored a free kick on an absolute heap of a football pitch. You know, it does level. You know, even Spurs versus Swansea last week with a torrential rain, Swansea were in it because the quality
slows it down.
It slows it down.
Yeah.
It's hard. You know, a footballer is as good as he is often because of how carpet-like the surface is. You know, it enables him to do the things that he's able to do.
Yeah.
But when it's boggy, it's like actually this is about grit and strength and will, and often prima donna footballers won't have that.
Yeah.
And lower league footballers will be well up for it. They love the bog and they love that because they know it is about that will and that grit, and it isn't necessarily about quality. So I think that's a brilliant ingredient for you know, the last thing you want as a lower league fan or a fan of a lower league club when you're playing a big team is blazing sunshine, or you know, a crisp,
nice
cool day
yeah.
with no wind. That you know.
That's why. So for Valley, one of my bankers, I put Spurs as a banker because although you're playing, and I'll kind of get onto tiredness because I think that plays a factor in the magic of third round of the FA Cup. But on a big Wembley pitch,
yeah, they're going to struggle.
They're going to struggle, aren't they?
And it's too big for Spurs. Like the mileage that the players put in,
yeah.
and the amount of gaps. This like when Spurs play at home, the gaps between midfield and defence that don't exist when we play away, and the gaps between the goalkeeper and the back line, they're gargantuan.
Really?
Like that pitch is unfeasibly big. And so we've had to adopt this weird kind of counter-attacking high line system in order to condense the game into a small area of the pitch so you can play the way we want to play. But that leaves huge amounts of opportunity on the counter. I don't think AFC have got that in them to exploit that. But you know, and the turn of the coin is that you know, we're going to tear them apart. That's what I would assume to happen.
Yeah.
So no amount of will, rain or wind is going to stop that from happening at Wembley. If it was down the other end.
Yeah, if it was at AFC, then you'd have a chance. And that kind of leads me to my pick for an FA Cup shot this week. Is Newport County versus Leeds United. The reason I picked this, I think you're absolutely right, and I think Wolves will beat Swansea because they're flying, even in the league below, and their squads probably match up quite well as well.
Yeah.
So I think they'll win that. The home advantage is a huge thing if you want an FA Cup shot. But like you said, the pitch as well. Newport County, where they play, it's windy, and I think they've got a running track around it, if I'm right. So it's got all those ingredients.
And
And then the other thing I think with this game is you've got Leeds United who are 6th at the moment. I think they drew and lost their last 2 games. Before that, they'd won 4 on the bounce. But they went out to Sutton United, I think it was last year, or it was Sutton or Lincoln, one or the other. Sorry, and I think even the Championship teams that've got a chance of being in the playoffs, they would rest players as well.
Well, you 100% get that.
Yeah,
like Leeds are not going to benefit financially hugely from a long cup run. I mean, they would obviously have benefit, but it's not going to change their lives. Newport going in, bonuses all around. Yeah, they're just saying, look, you win this. This is you're going to double your salary for a year.
Well, and they're 11th in the league as well, so they've got literally nothing else really to play for.
Yeah.
It'd be a shock if they can make it into the playoffs. So I think that's definitely one for me. I can see Leeds resting a few players. Their squad's not that deep.
Yeah. And by the same token, we're talking about teams coming to you know, Premier League clubs, and Newport are going to be well up for that game. Leeds are a massive football club still.
Yeah, I agree. And then a last one, Coventry versus Stoke City. Stoke really struggling. Well, I guess we're gonna.
Is he still? I stopped following it. Is he still there?
He's still
what is going on?
Do you know what it is? I think it's Peter Coates, who's the Stoke City chairman. He has real patience.
He really likes him.
He thinks he's a lovely young
man. Yeah, I mean that's a joke. He's got to go. Stoke are the worst team I've seen play this year.
Really?
By a country mile, and we played Southampton, who are horrendous.
I agree. I think he's hanging on, and I appreciate.
But have the dignity and self-respect to say, I'm not up to this. I apologise. It's all gone tits up. Like, the fans have got to sit through this turgid football. He has a responsibility to resign.
Do you think so?
Yeah, absolutely. Really? Yeah, so he doesn't have to get some. He's hanging out for a loyalty bonus. Because he didn't.
Not.
Yeah, he's hanging out for the payout. If he resigns, he walks away from that. Right? He's sticking there till he gets sacked. And that, what's his name? Coates?
Peter Coates, yeah.
Peter Coates, lovely guy.
Great. Local man,
lovely guy. Or is he?
Yeah.
Or is he sitting thinking, fucking, I'm going to wait here till you resign, or we'll stick together and we'll ride this absolute clusterfuck into the moon.
I had a really good conversation with Rory about Mark Hughes, actually. There's two ways of looking at it. Rory was saying that you have to get rid of. If the manager's not good enough, it doesn't matter if there's a better guy to come in. You've got to get rid of the guy who's not good enough.
Yes.
Whereas I am not sure about that. I wonder if you can't get anyone who's clearly better, then you're better off having a slow dip or an equilibrium than just plummet.
But there's always someone better. There's always someone that you can replace, and what happens is you get a cancerous environment where everything starts to go wrong. The players don't want to play. They're not going to instill his tactics on the pitch. He's lost. I'm not saying he's lost the dressing room. We have no idea, but it's not happening. And they're worse, much worse this year than they were last year.
I think they're in huge trouble.
Huge trouble. Sometimes you've got to be like in Swansea have played better under Carvajal. So
true.
Yeah, he has a reputation for galvanising football clubs that are in disarray.
Yeah.
Desiree.
They're in disarray.
Disarray.
We don't know if that's true or not.
What's the word?
Disarray.
Disarray. The ones that are in disarray. Disarray. Right. He has a lot of football clubs under his resume, but he. But one of the things one of the things he does very well is take very difficult footballing situations and galvanise them. He did it at Sheffield United Wednesday, where he they were a mess. He got the fans on board.
He did, yeah.
And he has this kind of philosophy, like a together philosophy. And often with the quality players that you'll find in Premier League clubs, that actually having that togetherness and belief in each other is all you need, to get you out of that mire. And I think Swansea are going to stay up.
Hang on, you just said they're going to get beaten by Wolves.
Yeah.
In the FA Cup third round.
Yeah, but he doesn't fix everything. Wolves are flying. They're an unstoppable juggernaut.
Love
listen, Wolves, Molineux. What a name for a stadium.
Molineux.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Don't know what the reason for that. Robbie Keane's gone back to Wolves.
Yeah. What, are you just pieing me off there?
I don't know what to say about that.
It's just, when I was a kid growing up, it struck me as, that's a proper stadium. Molineux.
Do you know what I like about Wolves is that and I like teams that don't play in obvious kits. Like Sheffield United, Lincoln City, Southampton, all playing very similar.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like Norwich City, QPR to a point.
Yeah.
Wolves.
Is it orange?
Wolves.
Is it black?
Gold?
Oh, is it gold?
No.
And you think you're looking at your colour palettes and you're looking and you're thinking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do that often?
Yeah. Like when I'm building a football team and deciding what colour they should wear, I look at them and go, orange and black. Anyone?
Chuck that.
We'll call it gold.
Nice.
Got it.
Yeah.
Lovely. It's horrible. They've never had a good kit ever in the history of football.
I think it's tricky to do that with that colour.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Those were the days.
Robbie Keane.
Sorry,
Robbie Keane going back. Robbie Keane going back though.
Don't want to let me get onto those other days.
No, well, we will because I like that bit. But
sorry.
Robbie Keane going back. What's he going to do there?
Nothing. He's going to do absolutely nothing.
Have the dignity to retire. You've gone over to it.
What is it? I don't know. If there was a world that was run by Flab, there'd just be a whole stockpile of people just doing the right thing and giving up. Fucking mad. Let them play football and let them manage.
He's playing football in India for
a team.
I can't remember what they're called. Under Teddy Sheringham. Mm-hmm. You go and play football there. Their stadium, the team that he plays for, it has 85,000 capacity. Or he's going to come back to visit Wolves because it's nice. He used to play for them before he pied them off and signed for the first big club. Actually, it was Coventry from Wolves, wasn't it?
Yes. Yes, sure.
Yeah, so he pied off Wolverhampton Football Club for another local rival, right? And now you're welcome back. Remember what he did.
Yeah.
And that's why I'll never forget him. Apparently a legend at Tottenham. Nah, First opportunity, I'm signing for my boyhood club, Liverpool. Didn't work out. 6 months, come back with a tail between your legs. You're not a legend, Robbie, unless in some instance I might meet you in the future. Then I'm very much going to call you a legend.
If you're willing to do a live show.
A live show for the fighting cock. Yeah. Then we'll erase all that. You're not going to do so.
Right, those were the days. Here we go. If you and all those were the days have come from people in the comments this week. Oh. I haven't had to chip in, which is nice. So, and these are good. So, if you want to let us know things that you miss about football, tiny little things, then we can talk about them on the podcast. So let us know. James Woodhouse. Those were the days. The Life of Riley by the Lightning Seeds being played over Goal of the Month.
Yeah, so when we used to play football when we was kids, we would start a run from midfield and sing that tune.
Love that.
Just in case we scored a worldie.
That's good.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Just in case. Often you'd lose the ball, you pass it and you get it, you go dun dun dun, and everyone's like, here he goes.
Oh, right. Oh, what, you'd start it yourself?
Yeah, you'd start singing it as you started running with the ball.
Okay, it wasn't like every time the ball, some kind of dun dun dun, you only get to the
No, you had to be in a position where a worldie was possible.
Right. Yeah. Like that. I love that. Lightning Seeds in general.
Good one though. One thing was just as a corner was supposed to come over, you start singing it and everyone's like, whoa, what's he going to do?
Yeah, it could be a bicycle kick. Is he going to shoot?
Exactly.
Nice. Joe, actually, the Goal of the Month has lost its prestige as well. It's become a Twitter vote.
Yeah.
Old school.
Yeah.
Call up.
Yeah.
The one that you thought had won. Right?
Yeah. You rung up an automated line because you believe that only cost 49p a minute.
Because that goal.
Now it's a Twitter vote.
Peter Unlove.
Oh, wow. Coventry.
Peter
I think... those were the days when Coventry were a big, were a proper football club. I'm not going through the terrible situation they have been over the last, couple of years or so. That's Peter and Love, that Coventry side with the kind of little chevron kit. Peugeot
sponsorship.
Yeah.
I'm reading a book, the autobiography of Andy Morrison, and he was the captain of Man City when they went up in 97, 98, I think it was,
League One.
for the playoffs. Yeah. Massive drinker. It's a good book so far. I'll let you know how it goes. But his Premier League career was basically ruined by Peter Unlove.
Really?
Yeah, they played Coventry City. He was from Zimbabwe, Peter Unlove. And he just he tore him a new one. Just couldn't deal with it.
He was great.
He was a good player.
Yeah, he was great.
Peter Unlove. Jason Dezelle.
Wow.
Was he at Spurs?
Yeah, bad. It's bad times. bad times. Like
his son's good apparently.
Do you know how you remember... You know how a war veteran would remember Vietnam? And it fundamentally changes who they are. That's my experience watching Jason Dezelle at Tottenham.
When I see Jason Dezelle, I can't see him in anything else apart from the yellow away Spurs kit.
Yeah. No, I mean, I saw him a lot. It was one of them things that was confusing for a long time. And do you know, I'll tell you one of the things, those are the days, when your managers would persist with a player who clearly wasn't good enough. Justin Edinburgh at Tottenham was never good enough. Dean Austin at Tottenham was never good enough. But they were our fullbacks and they played.
And that's it. Yeah, get on with it.
Yeah.
And final one, I haven't got the name there and I apologise. Feel free to have a go at me in the comments. When David James played up for Man City, this was brilliant. I don't know if you remember this one. No. Stuart Pearce was manager and I think, I can't remember who Man City were playing, but they'd had a decent season. Man City, and they were trying to get into Europe, and so it might have been the last 10 minutes, they'd thought about it beforehand, and they took a player off, gave David James a number 1 sky blue Man City shirt, and put him up front.
Why?
Because he just sort of, I guess,
he's big.
Stuart Pearce was going a bit of chaos theory, or we're running out of time, we're gonna have to pump it long. David James is a massive bloke, that might help. And he had a couple of chances actually, and I think he maybe nearly got a penalty as well.
Did you dream this?
No, it definitely happened. Yeah, because it was in the God, you're worrying me now. But yeah, no, he did. It was mad.
That sounds like a dream.
It definitely happened. Tell me if it was.
Yeah, look, that would scare you if the manager of your side thought about putting a goalkeeper up front to create a bit of chaos as a tactic. All you're doing really is putting someone who's really shit into the mix.
But big.
Yeah.
That isn't valued anymore. Those were the days when big people were valued for being big. So there you go.
Jeff Horsfield. There you go. There's a big player.
Great example of that, yeah. What's his name? something France. Kevin Francis.
Andy Booth.
Google it. Right, hashtag those were the days in the comments. Let us know yours. We'll talk about them next week. Let's talk about some of the derby games and Sam Allardyce, which we spoke about at the start of the podcast. He rang in and there was a superb impression by myself. Two really good ones in the FA Cup third round. Liverpool versus Everton and Palace versus Brighton. Let's talk about Liverpool versus Everton. Played earlier in the season and I got a bit of stick doing a video talking about it, and I was saying that it was a bit embarrassing the way Everton played, and that they just, it was complete robbery. Sam Allardyce will obviously be delighted with that. They got the win, and it was one win in a nice run of games where they've done really, really well. And I like Sam Allardyce, but what I was saying at the start of the video, how we will never win a trophy with Everton. The reason I sort of started thinking about this was I was doing the running order. I was thinking, who do I want to go for? Who do I want to predict as the FA Cup winners this year? Every year, in my head, I kind of want an Everton to win it. A club that's going to appreciate winning the FA Cup.
Well, those were the days.
Those were the days. 1995, of course, Rideout. Yeah.
1-1.
Yeah, that's. And I always like to go for Everton because I think they've got the quality to do that. They've got the quality to beat any team.
Yeah.
Incredible history with the FA Cup as well. But then I thought about Sam Allardyce and I thought, he's not won a major trophy. The furthest he's got is he got to League Cup final with Bolton, lost to Middlesbrough. But he is regularly kind of given up on the FA Cup because he's been concentrating on the league. He's managing a team that's not got the same kind of concerns as probably West Ham when he's managed them before, Sunderland as well. So I can understand him doing it.
He's kind of solved that problem already, hasn't he?
Yeah. But with Everton, I think this year for me is his 1 year because I think he's a good manager. And I think next year Everton will be in a much better position, and I think they'll be able to have a decent chance at trying to kind of get into that top 6 maybe because they've got quality players. But he doesn't care about the FA Cup normally, and next year he won't again.
Yeah.
So this year's the only year that he's going to do it, and I think they've run into the wrong team right at the start in Liverpool.
Yeah,
I think he will never win a trophy for them, and that if you're an Everton fan, you've got to be. That's what it's about, isn't it?
It's about perception. It's about from a fan's perspective. It's about glory. It's about winning the FA Cup. But from a manager's perspective, it's not. He would be heralded as achieve something greater if he gets Everton into that 7th spot from where he took Everton to be, the club. So that he would go down well as in terms of the consistent performance rather than what many people in the FA Cup perceive the FA Cup to be is you got to be a bit lucky. You're winning single rounds rather than you building up form. That's why teams that nearly get relegated. Often in the past, nearly what you've seen Wigan win the FA Cup and get relegated in the same season. True, yeah. So sometimes you can be lucky and win the FA Cup, and that doesn't help him as a manager. He gets to a stage where if he stays at the football club long enough, then winning things will become important. But at this stage, that's not his concern.
The one thing I would say is that I think they're not in Europe anymore, so that makes life a bit easier for them. I don't think he'll get a better opportunity to focus on winning a trophy than he will if they can get through against Liverpool, which is, it's a nightmare tie, and it's away from home. They haven't won since, 1999 since they beat Liverpool away. Oh no, they beat them. No, they drew, didn't they? 1-0. Sorry. I just think, on a wider picture, as if you were an Everton fan, let me know. He's not going to win you a trophy if he doesn't do it this year.
But they wouldn't care about that right now.
Do you not think?
No, they're delighted with the fact that they're not terrible anymore. Like, do you remember how bad they were before Unsworth, but under Unsworth?
I'm not saying get rid of Sam Allardyce.
No, I know that. I'm just saying that it's about where your mindset starts. It's if you're looking at the FA Cup now, Everton probably. I'm putting. We can ask Ped and Baz, but I'm thinking now he's got such a grace period that they're not thinking. The FA Cup would be wonderful. I'm sure they are. It's in the back of their mind, but they're just happy that they're not going down. At this stage,
I would suggest that they would be thinking, this is your free hit.
It is a free hit.
This is such an opportunity for a team that has really
but not to Allardyce, it won't be. It's free hits in the grand scheme of things. It doesn't matter if they finish 10th. It doesn't matter if they finish 14th or 13th, really, in the grand scheme of things. But as from a player looking to sign new players, the feeling around the football club, if they finish 7th, that feeling that's tangible. That's a real thing that they can build upon. Right, look where we took it. This is Allardyce. He knows what he's doing. He's going to bring players in. Maybe they can push into that top 6 next year. Is more important to Allardyce and the wider scheme of making a club great than an FA Cup win, unfortunately.
Yeah. But I would say they're closer to winning an FA Cup than they are to getting in the Champions League.
Yes.
I know they're more excited about being in the Champions League, but trophy's a trophy, and that's a great one.
Yeah. At this stage, definitely.
He should focus. I will not be surprised if you see in that game him making a lot of changes and just giving up on it. And if I was an Everton fan, I'd be fuming at that.
Against Liverpool, because ultimately that should be all that matters. You're playing your rival.
That's true. Despite
all of the stories about it being a friendly derby, there is a genuine dislike between the two clubs and their fans. I'm not talking individually; they might get on, but we spoke to Chris from Redmen about this before, and they don't talk to each other on the day.
Yeah.
They don't. There isn't this kind of let's hold hands and watch the game together thing. It doesn't really exist anymore. So it's going to be important to him, and from this isn't an FA Cup game. This is a derby game, in my opinion. If Spurs were playing, I've seen us throw it away against Arsenal, and it's horrible. It's horrible. One of the worst feelings I've ever had walking away from a game was a League Cup 4th round against Arsenal at White Hart Lane. We changed so many players. Stephen Corker made his debut at Tottenham.
It just got released.
Yeah. Did he? And Arsenal made some changes, but their squad was stronger than ours, and they tore us apart 4-1. And their fans, they didn't care it was the League One; they just stuffed us, and they were going mental.
Yeah,
and that feeling I had when looking at them, and that's what I mean. That's why you don't need fans as managers, because overall the bigger picture is more important. But if it was me, I'd be like all guns blazing. Everyone's playing.
Yeah, and again, another problem. The magic of the FA Cup is you have tired players, and that's how shocks happen. But the other bad side that you're seeing in the FA Cup now is that teams aren't playing their best teams because they're knackered. And so that's the other side of it. The other big derby, Palace versus Brighton. We've got a really decent mini-doc on the Bull Street channel talking about that rivalry. But that's one of the most interesting but really tense and strongly felt derbies.
Genuinely loathe each other.
They really hate each other.
Yeah, the atmosphere is equivalent to Merseyside, North London derby, Manchester derby. There's different reasons for it, but you only need one reason to hate someone, and they loathe each other.
Yeah, and just quickly, what's the basic? Do you remember?
My gut feeling is that no one still really knows. It stems from a fallout between Alan Mallory and Terry Venables, which stems back from their time at Tottenham, where one wanted to be the captain, and they basically didn't get on. So that kind of spilled out into the game, and Adam Mallory ran on the pitch and threw some coins at the Palace fans and just said, that's all your club's worth, kind of thing. So it stemmed from a very bad-tempered game, and that just carried through. And then they were competing in the Championship, and then there was like this 13, 14 year hiatus where they were in different leagues, going up and down and whatnot. And then they just wondered about what it might be like when they meet up again, and it was as bad as it has ever been. Yeah, but a full story, including kind of talking to the fans, is on Bull Street's YouTube. Just type in into our YouTube, go Brighton Palace. Yeah, we'll put a link in the description as well. Yeah. But that is, I don't know if that's on the telly or not. It should be. Yeah. That's the game. Yeah, definitely. Palace versus Brighton. Okay, right. It's Soldiers Lost in Battle time. Just say thank you for getting your stories in. Difficult to read, but it's important that we share these things. Go on, Flav. Do your thing. What, you've just done it? Well, do it better. Do it again. So basically, if you ever have a situation at football where, or it was some situation that's prevented you from going to football and enjoying or missing a particularly excellent game, then let us know what that reason is in the comments, and you may make the Soldiers Lost in Battle roll call. Here we go. Hit it, Jim. Okay, Soldiers Lost in Battle. Lamar Gilchrist. It was the Europa League quarter-final, Liverpool versus Dortmund, and I requested the day off work. As the match is coming to a start, I get a call from work saying that I needed to come in or I would be fired as they scheduled me anyway.
When I get there, they tell me that they got the schedule wrong and I was not supposed to be in, so I rushed home. I come in and turn the match on and we're 2-0 down already and I have no idea what's happened. As half-time approaches, I get another call from work, expecting it to be an apology for making me come in on an off day. You can understand my heartbreak as they say the person's schedule did not show up, so I had to come back. Seeing as the match was 2-0 and Dortmund were flying, I went into work. I checked my phone at work and saw we had clawed one back and then immediately had gone back down to 3-1. So I put my phone away and tried not to be a dickhead for the rest of my shift. Not long after, my phone notifications started blowing up. 3-2 now, 3-3, can we get the winner? Then I have to go into a freezer at work where I have no service. So the last I see is 3-3 with just minutes left. So I accept the loss and turn off my phone, so I'm not bothered by more notifications about an almost comeback. I get off work a few hours later, turn my phone on and see we won 4-3, Lovren last gasp winner. I missed the game of the season that year because my manager was a dick. Thanks, boss.
That was so good.
That was good.
I really enjoyed that. Well done, Lamar.
Anthony Art. I'll just skip back a bit because that happens every time. Soldiers lost in battle. It was the summer of 2006 and me and my friends were rolling conkers into the road and enjoying the thrill of cars running them over.
That's it.
However, one woman decided to get out of her car and report us to our school. We were all suspended.
What?
As a result, my mum grounded me and cancelled the Sky Sports subscription. As an Arsenal fan, this was a disaster.
Good.
This was the week of our one and only Champions League final. I couldn't bear to listen to it on the radio, so I found myself in the corner of my bathroom. I was a complete mess for 2 hours, thinking about what could be happening in the final. It was 9:45 when I got the phone call from my dad. We lost, and I cried myself to sleep.
Excellent.
And finally, Shek 1. I'm a Liverpool fan from Zimbabwe, studying in the United States at the moment. All I have ever wanted to do is go to Anfield, but could never afford it because Mugabe is inept and ruined our economy. Limey prick.
Limey prick. I don't understand that. Is that?
I don't really understand what lie. I hope that's not really offensive, Limey.
Yeah.
If it is, I apologise.
As I understand it, Limey's an English person, but
okay. Damn.
No, it's not right. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, right,
Doesn't matter. Listen. Mugabe done a lot of bad things also, other than fucking the economy.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's some. Isn't there?
Well, he's gone now, isn't he? Do you know what I mean? But no, obviously, he's affected a lot of lives.
At the door.
Let's not go down that road.
Go.
Soldiers lost in battle, thank you very much. Finally, final question for the Fan League pod of One for the Weekend. Which team needs to win the FA Cup the most? Spurs?
Yeah.
Discuss.
We need it. We do. Just so we can just shut up other fans going, well, you haven't won anything. Yeah, you're good, but you haven't won anything. Because you win anything, all right, what else? What else can you say?
Do you think anyone needs it more than Spurs?
I think Conte needs it at Chelsea.
The best of the rest need it?
I think they all need it. The Man City have won the league. They're going to want to win the double. They'll probably win the League Cup as well. Yeah,
well, and they're favourites for this.
The champion and they're favourites for the Champions League.
They'll probably win the World Cup.
And they're probably things going the way of. I've never seen a team as good as them in the Premier League era. I think if they plan it correctly, and Pep Guardiola seems to be a master at this, at gauging how much a player's got and what he can do, then there's really no reason why they can't win all four trophies. So ultimately though, you got the FA Cup is the next big thing for English teams. So Spurs, Chelsea, Arsenal, Man United, they're going to want that. Man United especially, they're going to want to stop City. So yeah, Man United.
Do you know what, the team that I'm going to put forward, I think of those top 6 teams, I think Chelsea need it the most, just because their whole understanding of their process in terms of sacking managers again and again is because they win trophies. And if it's not working, this is a results-based business. Off you go. Next one comes through the door. And I think Pochettino, if you don't win the FA Cup, he's still going to be there.
Yeah.
Wenger, if he doesn't win the FA Cup, I mean it's his choice where he goes.
It's up to him.
So he's not going to go. And I think Mourinho, I would say the same. I would say that he won 2 last year. I guess it depends where they finish in the league. I'm a little bit worried. Well, I'm not worried. I don't give a shit. But I don't think they'll finish second in the league. I think they could be down as low as 4th for me.
United.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think Mourinho would get sacked even if they didn't win anything. But if Conte doesn't win anything this season, I've got a funny feeling that might add to that general rumour of him going anyway. And I could see him going. So I think for Chelsea fans who would want to keep Conte, I think they need it.
I think Chelsea are in a situation. I think Conte need it more than Chelsea as a club. Right. He needs it for his kind of progression as a manager. I think a lot of Chelsea fans at this. I'm guessing here, but if I was a Chelsea, I'd be a little bit worried about the amount of damage that Conte is doing. They've got rid of Costa. They've got rid of David Luiz, or they're going to get rid of David Luiz purely because they're not getting on with their manager. At the end of the season, Conte's likely to be gone anyway. If somehow they can keep Luiz around, then that might placate him, because I think he's a quality defender. So winning the FA Cup isn't really going to change Chelsea much. For Conte as manager, he's going to be desperate to win it, I think. Okay.
The last one I had put down, we chatted about him earlier, Stoke City. I think they desperately need a cup run. My good friend Craig.
Yeah, they need it.
That's the cup competitions are the ones he gets so excited for, because that is his. He knows there's no Champions League football, but the idea of maybe getting to a cup final is such a strong one. So I think if they lose to Coventry City at the weekend, he has to go.
Do you know what I dislike about the FA Cup? The main thing is that the fact they're going to be. If Spurs don't get to the final, there are going to be 2 teams playing in my stadium. They're going to be playing in my stadium. Like that's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
That doesn't belong there.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
This is our stadium.
This is our stadium now.
Where would you like them to go?
I don't care. Anywhere. Bugger off. Old Trafford. Go and play the FA Cup final at Old Trafford.
Yeah. Right. Let us know your thoughts. Who needs an FA Cup run the most? Who needs to win it the most?
Just one other question is it unfair though if Spurs get to the final that they've had so many games, like 20 games there all season playing, and what will be a home game for them, more or less.
Yeah.
Is that an unfair advantage?
Well, you just got to get to the semi-finals and you get another home game.
True.
Right,
yeah. I mean, for me, that's a disadvantage because that means another game I have to go to Wembley. But generally, we understand the pitch, and the pitch is crazily big, as I've established already in this pod. But we
used to fight that. You used to go on. It's only like a yard bigger than Leicester City's pitch.
No, it's not. It's just watching it, and you're like, it never ends. Yeah. It never ends. I had to fight at the beginning of the season. I'm like, Pochettino's going to figure it out, and he has. We've done all right. Our form at home is, considering the fact that it isn't even a home ground, we're doing all right. But you do look at it and you're like, how do you negate this? It's so difficult.
Yeah.
It's because it doesn't take much for a professional footballer to pump it down, pump it long, because there's so much space for these people to hit. And they are professional footballers, and they more or less can put the ball wherever they want.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do against it.
Bottom line is, it's an advantage. It's a massive advantage.
For Tottenham, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So there you have it, another one for the weekend podcast. Download the Fan League app, do us a favour. The link is in the description, and come and play along. I've been having some naughty bants in the message group. Not really, a couple of chats, but it's nice, it's enjoyable. So if you want to have a chat and get involved,
get involved. Why not?
Add me as a friend, James Alcott, not generally, just in the app. ALLCOTT, and I can invite you to the one for the weekend league.
Add me as a friend, because I'm on there.
Not as important.
No.
Not you, just it's not as important that they do that.
No, but just once you've added James, then add me.
Might as well. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Subscribe to Ball Street, or Long Ball Street, as this full-length podcast is on, and we will see you next week.
Download the app and join today.